Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is Word Origin 71. The word origin today is a wild goose chase. Okay, let's take a look at the note here. If someone goes on a wild goose chase, he or she goes off on a foolish or hopeless search for something, especially something that cannot be attained, meaning maybe it could never be attained because maybe it's not there, or something that is not worth chasing. In that sense, we say that somebody goes on a wild goose chase or has been sent on a wild goose chase or is on a wild goose chase. You could use any of those verb phrases with it. All right, let's continue. The origin actually comes from an old horse racing game that goes all the way back to medieval times. The race started out as a regular race. Whoever won the first race became the leader and could ride wildly, and often the other riders, they actually had to follow him. And when he did this, he was known for changing directions. So he would just change direction to his whim. So wherever he felt like it. So he would purposely ride this one, then suddenly turn right, suddenly turn left, go in all crazy directions. And this was a game that they had. So the other horse riders had to follow him. So this is why it ends up being called a wild goose chase. So let's continue here. It was believed to be called a wild goose chase because geese often run in an unusual and unpredictable pattern, often changing directions, which make them difficult to catch. So if anybody ever tried to chase a goose, he will often run and then suddenly turn this way, suddenly turn that way, maybe zigzag, or who knows? You just don't know which way he's going to turn. I don't know. Maybe they've instinctively learned that's a good way to, escape predators, people that are chasing them. Okay, let's continue. We actually have 3 examples here. Here's the first one. That criminal purposely left fake evidence at the crime scene to send the police on a wild goose chase. So maybe he left evidence obvious evidence that would lead the police in the wrong direction, looking for the wrong thing. So this way it gets off his track and he has more time to escape. So we've seen this in some movies. Maybe the criminal is smart enough to leave fake evidence to send the police on a wild goose chase. Okay. Or number 2 here, I've heard some political commentators speculate that the reason Trump doesn't release his tax returns is to send his enemies on a wild goose chase. Yeah, their thinking behind this idea is, he was a real estate mogul for many, many years, and he had all the best accountants, and he knew that he could be audited at any time. So he made sure that he dotted every I and everything. So there may not really be anything there. So he could release them, but why does he have to release them? If he doesn't release them, his enemies spend all this time and all this energy trying to get something that even if they do get it one day, maybe there's nothing there. They may not find anything, no illegal activity or anything. So it's kind of like sending them on a wild goose chase, they think there must be, if he doesn't release them, maybe there's something there, but maybe there's really nothing there. If there's nothing there, he's making them waste all their time and all their energy trying to get something that, it's maybe not worth chasing. Okay. And number 3 here, in the old movie Cliffhanger, yes, this movie's about more than 20 years old now, maybe even 25 years old, with Sylvester Stallone. His character tied a tracking device to a rabbit in order to send the ruthless international thieves on a wild goose chase. Yeah, in the movie, supposedly they robbed some plane where they had the money was shifted over, and a lot of the bags with all the money or the bonds in them, I think they were actually bonds, fell down in the mountains, and they had to find them, but they knew that they all had tracking devices so they could find them. However, this character, he plays like a mountain man or a mountain climber at that time, he was able to find it first, and he knew that there was a track. He opened it and he got the tracking device, put it on an animal. So this way they think they're looking for the bag and they're actually just following a little rabbit that's running around all over the place. So when he did that, he sent them on a wild goose chase. Anyway, I hope you got it. I hope it's clear. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.